I think is interesting about this book and the discussions that people are having today is how something where I used to think these physicists would be in a lab and, like I said, looking at little particles and all that, it seems to almost have come full circle to where you're talking about how this relates to humanity, consciousness, our purpose, our reason in this world. And again, when I knew the guys in physics at MIT, they weren't talking about that stuff.
Well, make no mistake, no doubt there are many of my colleagues who will look at this book and say, what is this guy doing? You know, talking about these kinds of big ideas from the perspective of a physicist. But I have long felt, and my research and reading over the last few decades has only confirmed my belief that there is a false sense that physics and science more generally is off there on the side, right? It gives us some insights into the world, but we only pay attention if it gives us a new iPhone or new kind of gadget. But the reality is there's a continuum of these ideas, and our insights into the nature of ingredients, the particles, and the laws does illuminate these big questions of meaning, of existence, of consciousness, of free will. And so I felt that it was appropriate to consider these age-old questions, but from the standpoint of someone who looks at the world through the lens of physics.
Yeah, and I want to get into some of this stuff. Are you surprised that you're on Stephen Colbert 7 times to talk about this stuff? Are you surprised that auditoriums fill up to listen to what you have to say? I mean, you know.
Well, yes and no. I mean, obviously, it's gratifying that people come to these events and want to see them, but fundamentally, as kids, we are scientists. We are curious about the world. Why does a kid smash things together, break things apart, to figure out what's inside and how it works? And there's a drive to really engage and understand things deeply. And what happens in the educational system is we kind of stamp out that insight, that curiosity, by virtue, I feel, of spending too much time on assessment and testing and quizzes as opposed to the big, wondrous ideas. So when an audience member or member of the public has an opportunity to read a book or watch a Stephen Colbert where it's focused on big ideas, I think it reignites that childlike instinct to want to know that is inside of all of us.
Yeah, and that's the thing that new media is showing us, that there's a massive demand for this.
Yeah.
Whereas back in the day, you needed a cable organization to take a chance, like you said, on like a Carl Sagan, and it was kind of a one-off, and then we didn't see it much.
Right.
But when the demand is now kind of the people decide, all of a sudden you see, wow, there's this massive interest.
Absolutely.
It's weird because I have some young boys, like 3 and 4 years old, and we're trying to decide on where one of them is going to go to school. And actually, yesterday I was at a school where they're talking about how they don't base things on exams. And I'm just starting to rethink my whole education process, you know? And I'm trying to go, I'm back and forth, to be honest, Brian. I'm like, okay, maybe the exams did make me, I remember studying thermodynamics at MIT. I mean, Jesus Christ, that thing almost killed me. But I learned so much about entropy and all of these things. And so maybe that exam was good, but then maybe it wasn't good when I was a kid.
I totally understand, because when I first got my first teaching job at Cornell, I was, 27, 28 years old and very idealistic. And I told the students, you have an A. You don't have to do anything to get a better grade. Now come to this class to learn and do the problem sets to learn. And they were like, oh yeah, that's great. And you know what happened? Because the other faculty didn't do that in their courses, mine became the one that was low man on the totem pole. I was the one that they would look at only if they'd done everything else for the other courses where they were being graded. So it just didn't work out. And I had to go back to the traditional approach of grading students, which I don't like, I don't enjoy. I want them to come and learn and work hard because of the ideas, not because of fear that they're not going to get a good grade. But human psychology, as you're noting, is such that if you are faced with the possibility of not doing well, a bad assessment, it can drive you harder. And sometimes that's the only way that you can achieve what you want to achieve.